there's so many things that you can do with decorative stitches. This is an example of our quilt from the Stitching Cosmos online course. But there's no way to know how great your stitches are without taking some time to make a stitch book. Now we have a link below this YouTube video that will give you all the tips that I give my students on how to make a stitch book. It's a free video in the Stitching Cosmos class that everybody can get to. We talk about sewing out your stitches, proper stabilizers so they look good. And truly, you can look at these and you're like, oh yeah, I've got decorative stitches. But when you sew them out with fun threads and you see them on fabric, it's a whole new world. And on this machine, you can mirror image, you can make them longer and elongate them. So check out our videos on that. But when you stitch out all the stitches, I think you're going to be amazed of what they look like, including, don't forget to actually stitch out those utility stitches on row number 1, where you can find yourself with variegated threads looking like fun stitches that you had never thought to use in a project. But if you don't have a little reference guide of what you actually do have, how do you know you actually like it? It will also help you become more familiar with your machine. Trust me, it's going to take a little time. My thing that I always talk about is possibly using your start-stop button for sewing this so you don't have to sit there with your foot on the foot control. And on this machine, you do need to actually unplug the foot control. So you notice there's no foot control plugged in right now. When you lower that presser foot, you get a green button, and then you can actually touch it to start your stitching and then stitch as long as your fabric is. And having more than just one repeat of a pattern is going to make a difference in knowing like how big is it or how thick is it. And then your machine will also tell you what foot you should be using for that stitch. So do follow that along. Mostly just your regular A foot and B foot. So don't worry if it says like a blind hem foot when you're stitching a blind hem stitch. You're not really stitching it. You're actually just kind of stitching it as a look, not as a technique. So don't worry about switching to all those fancier feet, but just stick to your A and B foot and you should be good to go. Even buttonholes, I know we do, let me show you what we do with buttonholes. Stitch them out because here, look, we actually use variegated thread and use ribbon and wove the ribbon through the buttonholes to give it a whole new stitch. So like here we do chenille, we do all sorts of things with twin needle, and we actually make our own paper piecing. So that's all things that you can do on this machine. So I hope you'll join us over at our Stitching Cosmos online course. At least watch the 10 free videos, one of them being how to make the ultimate stitch book.